that means that you're approaching their stage. And if you can identify it, you can actually breathe it down and like calm down and be like, all right, this is the session where it's gonna be where losing and winning doesn't even matter anymore. You're gonna lose, but it's gonna be more about observing them the whole time. So so these are some of the things. If you can clear that up in your head, you'll be able to figure out what's going on. So when you're ever losing against a top player and you don't know why, here's how you kind of like, because right after you play King of Snail, you're looking for feedback. So that told me one thing. It's like maybe he doesn't know what stage he was on because you're on the losing side. But if you had known that maybe you were already on that third stage, the whole session was just meant for you to be a learning lesson instead of like, I gotta get the win and forget that like losing and winning is pretty much pointless. It's literally nothing. Whether you win, it doesn't even matter. For example, even if I did beat you while I was on don't get me wrong. When you're on your third stage, you'll get your wins, but it's actually pointless. It's like, yeah, I got the win. What was the point? This doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the fact that you were still in that stage of learning. So that's this is the I made that a long time ago. I just forgot about it. Like there's like a lot of stages of learning, because if you don't understand that there's stage, you're just gonna get really pissed off, and then you're gonna go through a stage of confusion and like oh man, I should just quit this game. A lot of people do that.
I know what you mean. So, I think I'm. Alright, so the first stage is usually learning your opponent, right? Like, you're playing to learn, right? And you also call it. Oh, well, no. You called out this first stage autopilot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called when you're playing me the first stage, you're just simply doing what you have learned from the past few months.
Okay.
That you've been doing, you're grinding. That's all it is. The first is called the default stage. The autopilot stage is just you doing what you learned from playing everybody else. And that's pretty much it. You don't have to think. You just be like, all right, if this guy's good, he'll just break through it. All right. And then once you figure out that he's good, you do the second stage, which is like, all right, I need to have no choice but to use the second stage. So it's like,
I slow it down.
that's kind of, well, you kind of slow down, but you're still fast.
Okay.
So that's what you did. I've reached your second stage, which did the work. That's all you needed. Because the second stage, that's when you're actually picking up on bad habits like spot dodging, roll lane, jumping habits.
Okay, that was my next question.
So that's what you were doing. I noticed. Oh, he's actually because the first stage you weren't doing any of that. You weren't really looking for my goofy rolling and spot dodging because you were just doing the autopilot. But that's how it's supposed to be. Because remember, you don't have time to think in tournament. You may just need the first stage. The first stage is all you need. But if you notice right away that that the person's just going right through it, you'll be like, all right, I had to think. So that's your emergency stage. And there's different levels of both stages. There's like a more advanced levels of stage 1 and more advanced level of stage 2. It gets better over time. So you start doing all that stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. Your second stage was able to put in the work. That's your second stage is where you'll do, I call it your limit breakers. You'll start doing your meters and stuff like the Street Fighter thing. So I'm like, okay, he's doing the flinchy thing, which I remember in Arnold, you'll do that thing. This was like, because I know you've been grinding a lot, so I noticed you refined. I noticed your style is still the same, it's just that you refined it. So I'm like, okay, he's doing that again. It's like, because remember when we first played, the first time we played, it was actually the same results. I went in, I did really good against the first stage, and then after the second stage, I couldn't win. And I'm like, all right, this is not gonna be. I wasn't as good as I am now, but I go straight to the stage 3. Stage 3 is where it doesn't matter where you win or lose. This is just like you're dealing with things that you're not used to, so you're not supposed to say, I'll call it accept the flow. Let's go with the flow and observe.
So you're just troubleshooting the whole time?
Yeah. Once I forced you to go to the second stage, I had to troubleshoot because I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force out my. I did randomly try to like force my emergency state once in a while, but I realized if I did that, I would just get tilted. So I stepped back. I'm like, no, don't do the second stage. Those were probably the 4 stocks.
Okay.
So if I when the 3 stocks and the 4 stocks were probably my second stages where I forced it out. Forcing it out means that you're trying to get out of the third stage and like you're trying to win. In other words, so once when I'm in my third stage, I usually always got to the last stock, but I never win. When I'm in my second stage, I usually get 3 stock or 2 stock, 3 stock, and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, don't don't use 1 and 2, just stay with 3 for like the whole time until you gotta feel for him. You by doing that, it turns off your ego. It turns off the tiltedness.
I super agree with that one. You taught me that early on.
So that's that's kind of accepting. A lot of the time when you're in that stage, you don't particularly need feedback. Just once you realize you're on that stage, you don't really need feedback. You just need that to be in that place for a while until you can rebuild 1 and 2. 1 and 2 has to like become like an improved version after the third stage. So
It's like training your
so I
baseline,
know
I guess.
exactly. So when I played you, I noticed sometimes you try to slowly sneak back to stage 1, and that's my usually I win. I'll be like a 3 stock in my favor. I'm like, okay, he's trying to go back to his first stage. It's all subconscious, but I know you're probably testing things out. So
Is that getting lazy?
that's what you knowing you, because that's I know you love to test things out.
Yeah, but I tested things to the point where now I need to stop testing because now I'm testing too much. Like I have things under my belt. I should just use what I
Oh,
know.
that can be a bad habit. That's more of like that's a lack of you not knowing that the person's already aware of your stage 1.
Okay.
So it's more like if you're going to stage 1 and I was winning, it's because you're like, oh yeah, I forgot he's already used to this shit. I'm stay in a neutral game mode for now until you see a weak spot. However, there's more advanced stages where you can slowly sneak in stage 1 and mix it with stage 2. That can be done if you can feel a sense of like lack of patience in them. When there's lack of patience, that means there's a sense of frustration. That means you can feel the frustration. You need to learn how to mix that autopilot in with the more precise version of you, because the autopilot is good for beating up people who are pissed off because it overwhelms them. It puts them like that's what Mango does when he notices somebody's in their head. He just pretty much like
Runs them over.
goes ape. He runs them over. So if you can figure it out, your style has that already because it's already there. It's part everybody has it. So yeah, once you know, because I know you know how to go aggro when you need to, because you'll do it when you feel like they have a lack of patience, but also becoming aware that they're patient. That's important. So when I play the other top players, I usually use patience against them because patience usually beats them. So that's how I win against them. Not only that, huh?
I was gonna say, like top players, patience is usually their default. Like they'll wait for you to fuck up and then bank on it. They'll never like be the
Yeah, it's their
aggressor.
default. Their emergencies. Yeah, that's true. It depends on the person. It's random. The stage 1 is actually could be very patient for somebody, but stage 2 could be very aggro. It's really weird. Yeah. I know for Gatsu, stage 1 is extreme camping, and stage 2 is aggro. So it's actually a lot of personality based on it. Everybody has a different personality. If you can identify it, like when I played King of Snail, I noticed when he went to stage 2, which wasn't much of a threat because I'm so used to playing on Wasabi because they play so similar. I was like, okay, he's going extra, like I'm trying to remember what he was doing, but oh yeah, I remember he was jumping a little bit more, so that was his second stage, which wasn't too much of a threat. That was like, all right, cool, this is pretty easy to get used to. But a lot of players do start off very patient. Some players start off very aggro and then get very campy. So there's you have to understand everybody has two first stage. Everybody has different first. Some people are campy at first and then they get aggro second. This is where I think this is where the confusion can get you. You know, this is where you be like, I don't understand what's going on. If you can identify what's going on, everybody starts off at stage one. By the way, especially if they have never played you ever, everybody starts off at stage one, no matter what. No one ever starts off at stage two because
There's no
it's
information.
the reason why no one starts off at stage two because they need some form of references.
Yeah.
You need references for you to actually become more precise. So obviously everybody starts autopiloting. No, everybody starts off autopiloting. Obviously the top player can start off mixing both of them. Yeah, a little bit of both. But even people like Mango has stage one because what if he's never played you before? He has no choice but to autopilot you because the stage one is just a form of you feeding them out and feel the temperature. That's all it is. Stage two is just simply you like, all right, this is the kind of style he plays, so react like this and start catching those jumps and those bad habits. Stage one should only be used to feel out people's bad habits. Remember, you do this already by, like, you probably never named it or you have like your own way of looking at it, but that's what you do. I'm pretty sure when we first started playing, you were using your stage one to feel things out. And if I was able to breach through your stage one, you had to go through stage two, and you already had the data downloaded. You already had gathered enough information for you to figure it out.
Not wrong.
So once you do that, it's you that's your emergency, and you'll do it, and then pretty much put them under pressure. And
Question
if
though.
they can't, yeah, if you can't handle, they can't handle. Most people end up quitting after that, but you know me, I never quit. I
Yeah.
keep going.
Question though. How do you know when to go to the next stage? Like sometimes I'll go to stage
Third
2.
stage, the third stage is the most important. It's actually the stage where it takes you to the next level.
Well, you're
The
learning.
third stage.
Because it's learning stage.
That is the stage where the first. That stage is definitely the part where everybody doesn't seem to understand. I think everybody subconsciously understands 1 and 2, but no one understands 3. Because when I play people like King of Snail, they don't seem to understand 3 that much. They are unconsciously aware of it. So when I play them, let's say you start destroying people like him. I'm going to use him as an example. They tend to quit. They probably won't keep playing because they're not getting enough wins. So they're probably collecting wins. That's not good. Armada talked about this. He said it's very bad to collect wins. Like, for example, let's say we had a session today and I'm like, yo, Angel, I beat you like 10 times and you beat me 43 times. Fuck, that's not good. That's actually a really bad mindset. Horrendous. Armada talked about this. Because you know why that's a bad mindset? Because let's say you've been beating me the whole day, but then at the end, you can't beat me anymore. But I have a lot less wins. That means all the wins previously are actually useless, and then I become the superior player. Do you see how that's pointless?
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people get stuck. Because I'm like, yeah, you beat me 50 times, but beat me 60 times, but then the last like 30, 40 games, I was winning most of them, and then yeah, but I beat you more. It's like yeah, but I can't beat me anymore. You beat me previously, but I downloaded you. It's too bad. It's too late. Too bad. You can't beat me anymore. Do you see how that logic is really flawed? Which is why it's better to throw away like the whole like win ratio thing and never ever in friendlies ever do that. It's pointless. So if you ever want to know how good you're doing, at the end of the session tells you everything if you want to know how good you're against somebody. So, like for example, when I first started playing Gatsu, I was destroying him. And then I see it went 80-20 in his favor. I'm like, well, those wins are kind of pointless. Let's throw them in the trash. So it's like, what's the point? It's like, I won, but he downloaded me, so if I play him right now, he'll just destroy me. So when we started playing, because we play a lot now, he pretty much, and after that, after like 4 sessions, we started going even now, because he forced me into the third stage already, which is pretty much I go in. It took me a while because I tried to force it out, that second stage out, and every time I did, I got pissed, and when I got pissed, I got beat worse. So I'm like, stay in the third stage. Don't bother with the 1 and 2.
Just put the ego away.
So I'll be like, all right, it's no point. It's gonna be bad. And when you're in the third stage, by the way, you're doing pretty well. You won't win, but you're doing really well. You're like keep up with that because you're like consciously doing everything and like watching them. But you won't
Collecting
get
data.
the best You won't get the best combos. You won't get the best punish, but you'll get a pretty good reads. But you'll never get like the win. You'll get wins sometimes. The only time you'll get wins if they'll be like, I'm winning. I'm beating you. I want to go to stage 1. So sometimes I'll like. Gatsu would do that. He'll go to stage 1 and I just force dock him. He'll be like, never mind, go back to second stage. Fuck that. And then he'll destroy me again. I'm like, so be aware of these things. If you can become aware of it, you can actually know where you're at. For example, if you know you're at third stage, you can actually calm your mind out and breathe it out. Because I'll be like, okay, I see what's going on. I'm not like confused. I'm not lost. I just know this is where I'm at. It's like, well, I'm dealing with something that I'm obviously not used to. Which means I'm going in and observe. Just observe. Just like try things out. Go in there and like just feel the waters out.
Mm.
And that should help you learn how to self-study much better. And when you watch your videos, you won't have to feel pressure to I should have done this and I should have done that. You'll be like, you'll know what goofy noises in the background. But you'll be able to figure out. You'll be able to feel out. Just learn how to feel out where you're at.
So I think I'm pretty good with realizing when people tilt. So I realize what stage they're in, when someone's not approaching and when someone's being aggro. But where I have problems is like moves. So like everyone tells me, like my placement is good, my spacing is good, but the moves I use are horrible. Like I should be using like nair more instead of dare against smart, let's say. Small stuff like that, and that's the stuff I have no clue how to like even like look at to fix it.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with your style. You just have to optimize what you already know.
Okay.
For example, when you're losing to people, I think you need to remove that. Advice from people can be some of the worst things. I don't like taking advice. For example, when someone wants to give me feedback, I think when I first played Gatsu a couple of times, he said, "You want some feedback?" I said no, and he was like, "Why?" I'd be like, "I told him my download game is way too beast. Trust me." So now we're regular training partners because he knows I'm a little too good to be giving advice. I also feel the same for you. I don't believe in giving someone a good advice. I think what you need is mental advice, not techniques. Because I believe what you're doing is already right. You just need to optimize what you already know, because I do feel like you know your craft. It's your craft. You created it. So the only person who can master that creation is the creator. So
Not wrong.
So I don't really believe in like, your moves. When I'm playing you, I don't see like that was a bad move. It's more like it's like he's doing the right thing. That means that I wonder how much he can optimize it afterwards if he gets better. That's all I'm wondering. So I don't really see it as a bad move.
Okay.
So that means this isn't a responsibility for other people. This is more of your responsibility, and you're probably already aware of it, which means that you actually don't need technique advice. Because I notice when we're playing, you seem to be able to mirror everything I'm doing already, so like it makes no sense. It's like, hey, dude, you should do what I'm doing. I'd be like, you're already doing what I'm doing. So that's really bad advice. Is for me to tell you, yo, Angel, you should copy what I'm doing, because I'm the punish game master. You think that I should be giving you the best advice. That's actually not good. I'd rather you keep playing your game, and you are doing your thing, but there's still a slight resistance.
Probably because I'm still trying to like test everything out, I guess, maybe.
I think your style is best suited for you, and I think it works because I think everything that you do leads to something guaranteed, from what I was noticing. Which means that there's nothing wrong with your style. It just means you personally have to optimize your art.
Okay.
Which is not my responsibility, because my art and your art are not the same. We have similarities in certain areas, and that's about it. But at the end of the day, you know your art better than I do, and they don't know your art.
Okay, that's true. But let's say, well, I guess it's stage three. Like, you got to know the stages. It always comes back to just knowing the stages and knowing when to switch the stages.
Oh, that's the frustration stage where you have to shut down your ego.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, what if I'm doing everything and nothing's working and I don't really see much, but then it comes back to going to stage three.
When I'm in stage 3, then oh, you mean like you already did everything, nothing's working,
Yeah.
and you're forced to go into stage 3?
Yeah, like that's the answer. I was gonna say, like, what do you know, like, what to do? But then the answer is going to stage three.
Well, when I was in stage 3, when I was playing you, I was kind of like, all right, so this was like, let's say I'm the kid being bullied and you're the bully, but I'm like fighting back the bully, right? That's kind of what stage 3 is at. But you know that you cannot beat up the bully, but all you know is like, I can put up a good fight. So when you're in stage 3, you're in that position. However, which just means you can actually accept your fate. You already know the session or the set or wherever you're at. Or it doesn't matter whether you're in tournament or in stream or in net play or in person. If you feel like they are able to beat your second stage, you have no choice but to enter stage 3. That doesn't necessarily mean to give up on the second stage. You can still try to put a little bit more work. To try the second stage as much as you can until you feel like it's hopeless. And once you feel like the second stage is kind of useless and they're getting everything that they want, which is what happened with Jimmy and you, which I noticed that you were getting whatever you want. I'm like, I gotta enter stage 3, which is pretty much slow down. Stage 3 means you're free to kind of just, you do it subconsciously. Sometimes you just walk up and do things. That's what stage 3 feels like. You're kind of like it's kind of goofy. You sometimes roll around, maybe you'll back air randomly, maybe you just run up to them and shine because you're trying to feel things out. But you're also at the same time memorizing, all right, he tends to all right, here's what stage 3 is. Stage 3 is you pretending to use stage 1 and 2 seriously, but you're not really. For example, when you're in stage 3, you're gonna try to do something that they're already been countering you, but this time you're no longer doing it from the intent to win. You're doing it from the intent, all right, he's good against this thing that I'm doing, and you can make that observation. He's reacting to this and he reacts to this. For example, if you're stage 1 and stage 2, stage 3 is when you consciously use 1 and 2, but you're not in an experimental way, but not in a winning way. That's the best way I can explain it. Stage 3 is when you're trying to do what you normally do in 1 and 2 stage, but you're no longer doing it because you're trying to capitalize and get the stock, get the win, get the punish. You're just doing it to see how they react to it and see how they move. And then you'll start noticing, oh, he's in this top platform. That's why he's punishing me. Yeah, he'll wait on the top platform. And then you start doing some semi-fake outs where you're just like, I'm going to pretend to do something I normally do in stage 1 or 2 and see, oh, shit, okay, I see. He's already aware that I'm doing this. So, like, I noticed that nobody really fucks with my upbeat ledge stalling except for you. So when I'm on the ledge stall, I usually always win. I'm like, I don't know if you remember, I kept doing it on purpose. It looked like I was being stubborn, but that wasn't really the case. Because I don't know, you noticed that I was getting more annoying to deal with the upbeat stall later on, right?
Yeah, it was more and more cleaner, and I couldn't just hit you off of it.
So the reason I was doing it, well, it wasn't because I was on stage 1 and stage 2. I kept doing it. All right, what is he doing that's beating my ledge stall? Because he kept beating it. Once he hit stage 2, I noticed he kept winning. Stage 1, I was able to handle it. But once you hit stage 2, you always shine and did some crash cancel shit or just laser me out of it. So I started doing more perfect ledge stalling. I'm like, all right, let's see how he handles a more refined ledge stalling. All right, he's starting to back off.
Yeah, I respect it.
So I started, you started respecting him more. So I'm like, all right, interesting. So I get to observe your behavior. When you're in stage 3, losing and winning is no longer your priority. What's your priority is feeling, making an observation. That's all. And if you're on stage three, you had to fully accept and surrender to the fact that you will not win that same day unless you guys have like an 8 hour session or something. You may be able to figure out, but if you have a like a 2 hour session, that's not going to happen. It's going to have to you can be prepared for another day. So that's what I was doing. I'm like, I'm gonna do this for a while and then figure out why he's beating my ledge style because nobody usually beats it. So that means I had to refine my ledge style. So I had to learn how to refine it or get better at mixing it up or pretending to be ledge. So that's what stage three. Stage three, you remove things out of your mind that normally you care about, and now you don't care about. You don't care about winning anymore. You don't care about losing anymore. You're pretty much just there to like observe. You're still playing seriously. Don't get me wrong. You're still like if you find your opportunity to get a punish, you take that shit. But that's what stage three. Stage three is pretty much you remove the. It's like kind of removing your ego. It's a form of humbling down, but still trying hard. That's the best way I can explain. Is like you don't really care about the win. You don't care about losing. The only thing that matters is observing the person's style that you don't really understand, and then you get okay. So when I'm playing you, I'm just like memorizing. Sometimes you do this, and sometimes you do this in this situation. All right, this is why you've been reacting to this. I'm just using all my stage one and stage two bad habits. So in other words, to access stage three, you must know stage one and stage two. You must be aware of your habit. So if you want to download people fast, make sure you know how you like to play in stage one. Make sure you know how you like to play in stage two. That way, when you get to stage three, you can use stage two tactics and stage one tactics and understand how they're reacting to you. This will give you the ability to self-learn without needing feedback anymore.
Okay, I see exactly what you mean. So I've been watching a lot of my own play lately, and that's been telling me what I do, like subconsciously and consciously in certain spots. So a lot of my plays have just been getting cleaned up. So now when something's not going my way or whatever, I can fix it almost immediately because I know what happened now. You know.
So that's good. So, but the good thing is now you can label it. You have a definition for it, which actually helps you not. It helps you not be like, man, I guess I was just playing like this at this moment. It's like, no, you're just in stage one right now. You know, you don't have to. A lot of people don't. When they're playing a certain way, they can't describe it. They just say they're just playing like that, but they don't understand why.
Yeah,
So
I hear that a lot.
when you're playing, at least you can make an observation now and be like, oh, okay, I see that stage was beaten. So against this person, I should have went to stage three immediately. Sometimes you'll be like, all right, against this person, I should have just stayed stage one. Sometimes you could just autopilot people to death. You should stay in stage one. Some people you should try. Stage one is just to feel the temper. That's all it is. You're gonna do what you normally do. You know how to react to things, and if it doesn't work, you go to stage two. Usually, stage two usually gets the job done. If you have tough training partners or like people that play a lot of really good players, you will always be in stage two most of the time. Stage two will be the regular. Stage two is what you want to keep training. You don't. This one where I told you, you don't want to play noobs too much because you're gonna be permanently stuck in stage one.
Autopilot master.
Yes. You don't want to be stuck in stage one forever. A lot of people have that habit. You want to. The highest stage is the three. Ironically, it's the stage three is actually the losing stage. It sounds negative. It's actually by far the highest stage. If you're constantly in a state of stage three, you will automatically make your one and two ridiculously strong.
Yeah, that makes sense. Your autopilot just gets better over time with you getting better.
Yeah, your autopilot becomes more conscious and more reactive, but also like rock paper scissors. Because second stage is more about rock paper scissors, and first stage is more like, oh, I've been through the World War One and Two.
So just to hear things again. So stage two is watching what they're doing and adapting, but keeping the speed, right?
Stage two is when you feel a sense of pressure, and then you can tell when you're stage two because the pressure is on, and they're like up, they're keeping up with like you, and then you like start a new match, and you're like, all right, it's on. I'm gonna fuck him up now. You can tell, for example, he did it against me. You can tell against everyone. This isn't just against me. This is something you feel versus every player you ever played. That's actually really hard. You'll know it's like, all right, stage one. Sometimes it takes one match for somebody to take you to stage two. So you'll be like, all right, this guy's not playing around. Stage two right now.
Yeah, in bracket, I always lose the first match, and then I win the rest.
You know, yeah, exactly. That's what stage two is. See, and it's so subtle because you can't tell because it's not like a video game. You don't have like in the video game it tells you, oh, you have entered stage two. You had to be able to determine you're in stage two just by feeding them. So when you play Gatsu, you'll notice that he'll take you to stage two very fast, or people like that. So
how do I end up there though? How do I like? Just I don't know.
Well, you wanna always be in stage three because stage three is always what's gonna push you forward. But stage three is the most selfish stage. You know why?
Why?
Because they're only looking for players who can beat you.
Oh.
Or people who can go even with you.
I mean, that's what I do anyways.
So it's the most selfish, but it's also the long term the most helpful.
Yeah, you have to.
Me personally, because I think if you get really good, it automatically gets transferred over to your community.
I mean,
because
yeah, that's true.
The reality is the community wants you to get the best training. Nobody wants you to just keep playing bad players and stay the same. Everybody's like, dude, you should play everybody that's ridiculously good, because I know when you come back, you'll look out for the little guys. That's kind of how it works. That's why I said you can't try to train the little guys now, because you are one of the little guys. The little guys can't help the little guys. Makes no sense. So you have to create an arena for rookies and give it to them. And if they're hungry enough, rookies can be random, because the real ones will stay and the fake ones are just staying there for like attention, and they just like want positive reaffirmations.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that. So you have to learn how to create a dojo or rookie dojo, and you'll know who's dedicated. And then I always like to choose the dedicated one. That's the reason I play APR, because I test them. Like, hey, APR, play this guy. I'm like, damn, you actually putting in that work. I like that. I like playing APR.
He's gotten a lot better.
Because he's actually putting the work. He's no longer campy. He's the total opposite of what he used to be. So that's pretty weird.
I mean, that's how I was. I was all gimmicks. I wasn't campy, but it was a straight out gimmicks. If my gimmicks didn't work, well.
You're what I call. You're the most neutral game-based gimmicky player I know, because most players or most gimmicky players have poor neutral game. Oh, actually no. Most gimmicky players tend to have pretty average neutral game, or a little above average, because gimmicks does take some form of thinking. But most aggro players have good neutral but bad patience.
Yeah.
That's usually their weakness. So when you play, let's say, like Funk has really good neutral, but I can see he may have like good patience. I mean, bad patience.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty bad.
So I can see that. What the difference between me and I'm like a patient version of them. Well, I'll sit there and take their abuse until I find like a hole in the neutral.
Okay, and then you just abuse that aspect. That makes sense. But in bracket, it's like
I've been doing this for a while. You played me already in Arno. I start getting more patient, or I start looking for holes.
No, I remember. You just stand there and be like, "What are you gonna do about it?" And I was, it's just your fault.
So I start doing. So it's like the repetition of before. I'm like, okay, this is some of your new stuff that I had to deal with. But yeah, I'm patient as fuck. I'm risky, but very patient. I'm extremely risky. Like, I'll take a lot of risks.
I don't know. I don't know what I am.
For the test. You're actually pretty impatient too.
Yeah,
ironically.
I hide it though.
You're what I call a closet aggro player.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll like wait.
You're
I'll like wait.
No, you never wait. When I play you, you usually sneak in. So I'm like, that's one of the realizations I made because usually I destroy campy players. So
Hmm.
I'm like, all right, he's not particularly campy because when I start out, he just walks up to me. So he's doing something that's approaching, but it's a very like shadow. Like you're like a ninja. Yeah, he's walking like a ninja. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I remember, oh yeah, that's what he did. I remember it's been a while, but I remember he used to do that. You like walk in.
Dirty ninja.
It's like it's almost no point in laser spamming. It's more like I can just engage you instead of lasering. So that's the reason I call you the closet aggro player.
Hmm. I mean, that's my style, I guess, right? So I need to just.
Well, the reason why the reason why I call it a closet aggro player because you have a lot of trouble versus gimmicky campy players like you can't put boxes that up tilt.
Yep.
So uh not only that the Smash community in the metagame they're more familiarized at your style than mine. So my style is a little bit harder for them to do because half of the community knows how to deal with my style and the other half doesn't. So when I play someone like King of Snails, like I notice like he doesn't seem to understand what the hell's going on. I feel like I'm just throwing out moves and he runs into it. So I'm like, all right, this guy plays nothing but campy blockers. I can see.
Hmm.
The Warmer's he has poor neutral, he has average neutral game, but really good like tournament experience reaction.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
100%.
play. I don't know if you played him before.
Yeah, I played him at the dojo, and I played him recently. His
How's
neutral
he?
game
How's
is
he now?
his neutral game is not there.
Yeah, he's like a lot of people don't know this because it is under the impression that defensive players are actually pretty smart. It's not particularly true. A lot of defensive players are really dumb.
Hmm.
He's one of them.
Can't be helped. I think a lot of stuff can be worked on, but he just needs to be more conscious of his lasers.
A lot of the King of Snail has like
Hello? If you're talking, I can't hear you.